The latest order of the district administration in Noida, Sector 58, has created certain controversy. Well, there are two parts of that order. First is that the district magistrate has said that the namaz cannot happen at the Sector 58 government park because on Friday, because there are no prior permissions which are taken, the no objection certificate has not been obtained, and hence that namaz cannot happen. The second limb of that order, which has come from the SHO of that local police area, is that the companies, the MNCs whose employees participate in that Friday namaz, if they do, the companies are going to be vicariously liable. Interestingly, the district magistrate has now come out in public and clarified that the second part of that order, where the companies were held vicariously liable, that's not going to happen. But the first part and the crux of that order remains, which is namaz is prohibited at that Sector 58 government park in Noida. Now, why it has created controversy? There is a section of the clerics and the community which say that this is specifically an action which is against the community per se. They are attributing political motives to that. Indeed, there is a 2009 Supreme Court judgment which says that prior permissions are required if substantial number of people gather at a public place and do a religious ceremony or any sort of religious activity. What's really questionable here is whether there was any specific activity which was happening at that place that led to the fears of the local police thana that law and order situation can be disturbed, because that is exactly what is said in the order, and the repeated statements which have come from the police officers that they have stopped this namaz because they were scared of the communal harmony in that area. Were there any specific intelligence inputs or any sort of local report that the police had gathered? That is one question that comes up. The second important question here is that ours is also a society where religion, everyday life is very much intertwined, and it's very difficult to separate one from the other. Every community celebrates their own festivals in public space, and one really wonders how much of law actually comes into being. The law so far in religious congregations, processions, ceremonies has played a role which has been of maintaining law and order. Now, going forward from here on, what also needs to be seen is whether there was any attempt by the organizer, because there is always a person who has taken the responsibility, the zimmedar, who holds these namaz and that entire congregation. Did he at any point try to take the permission from the local authorities? He has recently made a statement, one of the persons in charge of that namazi, and he is arguing that repeatedly he tried to take permission but he was denied so. At the crux of it is a political argument that a particular community is repeatedly targeted. At the same time, district administration has its own concerns of law and order. What needs to be seen is whether this order holds true in law. In all likelihood, if this order is followed at other places, it will be challenged at the High Court or at the Supreme Court, and especially at a time when the politics around religion has been polarizing by every minute. We need to see how far this order actually stands.